I am the investigative agent here for Hancock County. Can I see a show of hands of who all knows what an investigative agent does? Okay, I'm gonna pick somebody who's gonna tell me what that is. Let's see, Matthew. Can you unmute yourself, Matthew? What do you think an investigative agent does?
In case someone gets hurt, you contact them and make sure they're okay.
Okay, very good. Thank you. So basically, I investigate alleged, suspected, and actual events or incidents. And the purpose is to make sure that all the people we support stay healthy and safe. So that's you guys. One of the things that I investigate is when someone gets hurt, just like what Matthew said. I look into the situation to find out how they got hurt and how we can prevent that from happening again. One of the biggest causes of injury is from falling. So I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about how to prevent falls in your home. So I want someone to raise their hand if they think they can tell me what the top 5 causes of falls is. Sean.
I was going to say falling downstairs, but I don't know.
That's a good one. Anyone else? No? Okay. The number 1 cause is
I got one.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Tripping over other people.
Yes, tripping over other people and other items. Yes, that's a very good one. The actual number 1 cause of falls is medication. Number 2 is weakness and lack of mobility. Number 3 is chronic conditions, so medical issues. Number 4 is home hazards. And number 5 is impaired vision. So when it comes to preventing falls, we need to be very proactive. So we're going to talk a little bit about each one of those items. First one is medication. Many of you are probably thinking, well, how does that cause you to fall? And it's all about the side effects. So it's very important that you know and understand the side effects of your medications. Some medications can reduce your alertness or affect your balance or even cause a drop in your blood pressure, which then can make you unsteady and then you can fall. This is very important. So if you don't understand and know the side effects of your medications, it's really important that you talk to someone on your team, okay? Second, weakness and lack of mobility. So the key to this is exercise. So if we exercise, we build our muscles up and we build our strength, which then helps with our balance and our coordination, and then we're less likely to fall. Chronic medical conditions. So this would be any medical issues that you have. It's important that you understand what your medical limitations are. For example, do you need grab bars to help you in the bathroom or when you're in the shower? Do you need bed rails? Do you need handrails on the stairs? So it's really important that you make sure that you have what you need in your home to be as independent as possible, but safe at the same time. Then we have home hazards. So it's really important that we eliminate these hazards within your home. Can anyone tell me something that could be a trip hazard in your home? The what?
Clutter.
Clutter. Very good. Anyone else?
That's something I was working on.
Maybe a stool, if it's in the way, you can trip on the stool, a chair.
Yep, for sure. Anyone else want to give it a shot?
I got an idea.
No? Okay. So some examples of some hazards could be loose carpeting or even like fluffy carpeting, wires or cords laying around. You know, a lot of people have chargers plugged in nowadays for their phones. So if you leave it plugged in and it's just kind of hanging there or it's laying around on the floor. Clutter, like Dan said, that's a big one. poorly lit stairways and doorways, so not having good light, and then slippery surfaces. So it's really important that you make sure that you have a clear path through your home. Like Dan said, clutter can get in the way very easily. So you need to make sure that you can walk around easily without running into things or tripping on things. And make sure that you can get to the exit of your home as well.
Like for a fire.
Yes, which I think someone else will talk about later.
Yeah.
The other thing is slippery surfaces. So we all spill sometimes, right? So if you spill, make sure you clean it up, because if you don't clean it up, then you're increasing the risk that you're gonna slip on it, and then you're gonna fall and you could possibly get hurt, right? Okay.
There's something else. You could slip on ice.
Yes, you could. And I'm assuming they'll talk about that with weather safety, but yes, what do you do to keep from slipping on the ice?
Put salt down.
Very good. Yes, put salt down. And then the last one is impaired vision. So some things that you can do to help if your vision is impaired are removing rugs, having clear paths again, making sure hallways are well lit and have easily accessible switches or motion sensor lights, have handrails or grab bars, wear shoes, or if you don't want to wear shoes, which I wouldn't want to wear shoes in my house, get some of those socks that have a good grip on them. And be careful of loose clothing, because if you have loose clothing on, it could snag on something and that could cause you to fall, right? Okay. So that's what I have for preventing falls. I'm also going to talk a little bit about some tips to keep from getting infestations in your home. So like having bed bugs or something along those lines. Okay. So the most important thing is to protect your home, right? So these are some things that you can do to protect your home. Check any secondhand furniture, beds and couches for any signs of infestation before you bring them home. So secondhand furniture is something that you're purchasing that somebody else has already owned. Use a protective cover that encases mattresses and box springs, and this helps eliminate hiding spots for bed bugs. And the light color of the casing also makes it easier to spot the bed bugs. Reduce the clutter in your home. That seems to be something that keeps coming up. Make sure we don't have clutter, because the more clutter there is, the more hiding spots there are for the bugs. Vacuum frequently to remove successful hitchhikers, which hitchhikers are bugs that come from somewhere else and you bring them into your home. And then be cautious when using shared laundry facilities. So if you're going somewhere to do laundry, put your dirty clothes in a plastic bag, wash your clothes, and then when they're dry, take them directly out of the dryer, put them in a different bag, and take them home. You can fold your clothes at home. So this will reduce the likelihood of bringing any of those hitchhikers home. So that's what I have. I know that's a lot of information in a short amount of time, but hopefully you guys can take some of these tips with you and put them into practice. Does anyone have any questions for me or suggestions on how to do my hair?
Well, I know another safety tip.
What's that?
No using sharp knives
That's a very good one. Yes,
and
because
scissors too. Be careful with scissors as well.
yeah, I think someone's going to talk about cooking safety too. So
I just figured that'd be a good safety tip, though.
that's a very good safety tip. Thank you for that.
All right, if we don't have any more questions for Allie, I think we'll move on to Kevin. And
Good job,
Kevin's going,
Allie.
yes,
Thank
good
you,
job,
Matthew.
Allie. Kevin is going to be talking to us about kitchen and cooking safety, and then just general fire safety. So I will pin you to the board here. And you can go ahead and get started.
All right, perfect. Hello, everybody. I'm happy to be here and talking with you guys. Normally I do this in person with you all, but we'll look at little tiny squares of all of you guys. My name is Kevin Shanice. I work for the Findlay Fire Department, and I do public education for the fire department. And what we're going to do is we're actually, both of these topics are going to kind of work together. We're going to talk about cooking safety first, and then we're going to talk about if you do have an issue with cooking safety, what are you going to do and what should you have in your house to prevent those things from happening. So we'll talk about a little bit of those things, and then at the end of it, I'll let you ask some questions. So what we're going to do is we'll walk through a little scenario since Sean is the big steak cooker in this group. We're going to talk to you about Sean and his steak. So Sean's going to have steak for dinner. And he's going to cook it on the stove. All right. So what do we want to make sure that Sean does is make sure that he is comfortable with cooking. Okay. It's always helpful to make sure that you're not on your phone while you're cooking. It's better to make sure that you're not watching TV while you're cooking. So you don't want to be distracted while you're cooking. Okay. Because the worst thing you can do is burn your steak. No one likes burnt steak, right, Sean? So we want to make sure that we get a nice steak all done and we're safe doing it. So we want to make sure when we look at our stove that around the stove on either side of it, we don't have any cardboard or paper or anything that would catch fire. Okay, we want to make sure that we have 3 feet around our stove to make sure, in the oven, to make sure that nothing catches on fire. The other thing that we want to do is, just like Allie was talking about, is make sure that there's nothing that will trip you there. So if there's any rugs or anything like that that's there, you want to make sure those items are put away or, taken care of prior to starting to cook. Then you want to make sure that you're cooking the things at the right temperature. So you don't want to get your pan too hot, or you want to make sure that you take your time. Okay, one of the things that we run into all the time is people become distracted when they start cooking. Okay, the phone rings, they start talking to somebody, they get caught up in the news. I know Jay Burschbeck is going to be on here later and everybody sees him on the news. They get caught watching something on the TV, and then next thing you know, they don't realize that 5 or 10 minutes has passed by and the stuff that they had on the stove is now burning. So we want to make sure that when you're cooking, you're only cooking, okay? And make sure that you're taking care of your stuff that way. So make sure there's plenty of space around that stove to do that. Also, when you're cooking, make sure that if something happens, what you're going to do. Okay, so if that steak starts to burn, what are you going to do? Okay, and sometimes when you're cooking with oils and greases and things like that, throwing them in the sink and putting water on them is not the answer. That will make it worse. Okay, so sometimes the best thing that you can do is just turn the stove off, okay, and move the pan to a cooler burner. All right, and that will actually help quite a bit. Or putting a lid on top of it will actually help quite a bit as well. Okay, so don't panic and throw it in the sink and throw water on top of it, because that oil that's in there may cause the fire to get bigger. Okay, so the thing is to make sure that you stay calm, make sure that you know a plan of what you're going to do if something would happen. Okay, and sometimes just moving it off the burner and leaving it alone and calling for help, whether it's another adult or calling the fire department to help you. That's what we're here for. Okay, and then that way we'll come and help you with that situation and make sure that it's taken care of. Because at the end of the day, what we want to do is make sure that all of you stay safe. I would much rather see all of your faces outside the house than inside the house trying to do something that you're not comfortable with. We'll find another steak for Sean and make sure that he's well fed when we're done. Okay, so we want to make sure that we're doing that. Okay, so if that would happen where there would be a fire, kind of rolls into the other safety tips that we have for you. You want to make sure that you have a working smoke detector in your house. Okay, I think everybody should know what a smoke detector is. Okay, they make a noise when they sense smoke. One thing that we always have people do is make sure that A, they have enough in their house, B, hear them all over the house. So whether you're in the kitchen, you're in the living room, you're in your bedroom, you can hear that smoke detector no matter where you are or what you're doing. Okay, and usually the worst case scenario for people is when they're sleeping. They want to be able to hear that beep when they're sleeping. So sometimes having one in your bedroom will help you with that situation. And there's all sorts of devices for people that are hearing impaired, visually impaired, and those sorts of devices are out there for people that may have some issues where they just can't hear as well, or they're deep sleepers. Sometimes it's hard to wake people up in the middle of the night. So there are certain smoke detectors that will help with that. So we want to make sure we have a working smoke detector in our house, okay? And you want to test it once in a while. You want to push the button, make sure it beeps. You know, we always talk about time change in batteries at time change, and you should check it at that point as well. So make sure, I know time change will be coming up sooner, and actually in the next month or so. So we'll want to make sure that you change the batteries in it and go ahead and push the button and make sure it beeps. Okay. So when we hear the beep, okay, so maybe the steak got a little hot. All right. We're trying to figure out what we're going to do. We've moved it off the stove and the smoke detector goes off. Okay. What should you do when the smoke detector goes off? Anybody know? Well, we're all in trouble. If you hear that smoke detector go off, you should get out of the house. Okay. And you should have a place where you're going to go. Okay. A lot of people, they call it a meeting place when outside the house. Sometimes it's a mailbox. Sometimes it's the neighbor's house. Sometimes there's a fire hydrant across the street or in your yard. There's a big rock or a big tree, something like that. So you know if that smoke detector goes off, where you're going to go. And that way everybody in your house knows where you're going to be. And everybody will meet out there safely. And then at that point, you want to make sure that you call the fire department and get them coming that way. Okay. But you want to make sure that you know where you're going when you get out. Now, the question is, if you get outside and you think, oh, it's not that big a deal, can you go back inside? Anybody have an answer? It's yes or no. I see a lot of head shaking no, which is the correct
Nope.
answer.
Go back inside until the fire department tells you you can.
Absolutely. You want to make sure, even if you have a pet inside or your phone's inside there, your favorite thing in the whole world is in there, you don't go back in and get it. You wait till we show up and we'll go in and get it for you. Okay, once it's safe to do so. The good thing about that is we want to make sure all of you are safe. And that is, at the end of the day, the best thing for us is to keep everybody safe and know that they're outside in that safe spot. Okay. So do you guys ever, when you go to work, do you practice fire drills at work? Anybody practice fire drills at work? Okay. Anybody ever practice one at home?
I know we do at Optima.
Okay. So I know a lot of people will do it at work, but people should do it at home too. Just because you're at home doesn't mean that you can't do a fire drill. I do fire drills with my kids at home. We kind of make it into a game. I'll randomly push it normally to get them up out of bed in the morning, and make them go outside and make sure that I know where everybody's going to be when they get out there. Okay, so practice that stuff at home as well, just like you do at work. It's no different from that standpoint, is making sure that you're safe, making sure that you are in a place where you're supposed to be, and making sure you know how to call 911 if you have to. Okay, so keep that stuff in mind. If you would have an issue with that, make sure that you're doing that. Should you ever, let me see here, another thing that we could talk about. Should you ever try to use a fire extinguisher if you're not comfortable with it?
Right here's the culprit.
Does anybody have to know how to use a fire extinguisher for work? I'm seeing some no's, I'm seeing some yeses. If you are not comfortable with using a fire extinguisher, you should never use it. Okay, because we do not want to put you in a situation where you're going to get hurt. I know some people will be trained how to do that at work, but if you are not comfortable doing it at home, you should never use one. Okay, keep that in mind. The other thing about home safety we kind of talk about, and especially it comes up this time of the year, is carbon monoxide detectors. Okay, we have actually had quite a few runs here lately because we've had so much snow. So people's furnaces aren't working properly, and it's causing some issues with carbon monoxide in their houses. That is also another device in your house that is going to make a beeping noise. All right, and it will go off and let you know that there's an issue with it in your house. Okay, so because it's going off, you want to make sure you know the difference between the two. Usually smoke detectors are up on the ceiling and carbon monoxide detectors are closer to the floor. Sometimes they will be in the same device, okay, but most of the time they are separate, and one is closer to the floor and one is up, the other one is up on the ceiling. So make sure that you know if those are going off as well, that there might be an issue with your house. Okay, carbon monoxide is something that you cannot see. It's not like, smoke you can see, right? But carbon monoxide is something that you can't see and you cannot smell. It is silent, they call it the silent killer. So we want to make sure that, yep, that's a perfect example of what we're having issues with when it comes to heating and cooling and carbon monoxide. These things will get blocked, which causes your furnace not to work properly. And then you have carbon monoxide build up in your house and your carbon monoxide detector will go off. So as Jesse showed right there, that is a prime example of what you should do to prevent those issues, is make sure that those pipes that lead to your furnace are clear and they are working properly. So that will help with those issues, okay? So that would be another thing that in your house that may go beep and show you that there's something, or tell you that something else is going on, okay? All right, so let me ask, is there any questions about any of that stuff? Sean's just hoping he gets another steak out of this whole thing.
I had something about food safety.
Yeah,
Be careful around knives and scissors.
yep, absolutely. Whenever
And
you're in the
lighters.
kitchen, yep, whenever you're in the kitchen, you should be careful with knives, with scissors, you know, make sure that you're not getting burnt, your fingers aren't too close to the pans or the burners on the stove. What else?
I got a carbon monoxide detector. It sits in a ceiling in my apartment, and they
Okay,
didn't have a fire extinguisher. The fire extinguisher, when I had the issue in my apartment, they took it out. They did the dry heat,
okay,
and they took my smoke. They took my fire extinguisher,
okay.
and
So
they
you
didn't
don't have
bring it back yet.
Okay, well, you might want to ask them about that.
That's what I did. I asked the people I had, the people that helps me. I said something to the person already. He
Okay,
hasn't got it to me.
yep, just make sure they're, just remind them. I know it's been a busy week with snow and
Yeah.
everybody's been doing all sorts of crazy stuff, so just remind them.
Okay. And there was something. I have an ammo alert thing came across my phone.
Yeah.
Yep, I just got mine too.
It's going off.
Anybody have anything else?
That one.
Yep,
I got fire extinguisher
that's good. Do you have it in your kitchen?
in the garage.
In the garage? Is the garage close to the kitchen?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's a good place to have it.
There's a carbon monoxide plugged into my outlet on my wall.
Yep, that's usually where you see them, as they're plugged in most of the time.
Hey, Kevin, on your carbon monoxide detectors, what floor do you usually try to put them on?
Typically, they're on the lowest level of your house, closest to the gas-fired appliances. But what we tell people is if you do live in a two-story and all your bedrooms are upstairs, to put one upstairs as well. That way you can make sure that you hear it if it would happen during the night.
Okay.
We just want to make sure that people hear it no matter where they're at. A lot of people will have their furnaces down in the basement, and their basement isn't livable. They just kind of have their, hot water heater in their furnace down there. So we tell them to put one down there, but then one on the first floor.
Mm.
Okay.
That's a good question.
Mine is that baseboard heat.
Yep. You probably
And
don't
they're
need a
only
carbon.
I live in an apartment,
Okay.
and it's on the bottom floor,
Okay.
and they just have the carbon dioxide and the fire alarm all into one.
Yep. A lot of people have those. That's what I have at my house.
Yeah,
Is they're both in the same unit.
yeah. It's
Yep.
in the mine's up in they had it up in the ceiling, and it's in between all the rooms.
Yep. Absolutely.
I could hear it when it goes off.
That's good. It wakes you up then, huh?
Yeah, it's
That's
loud
perfect.
enough too.
I got one.
Somebody else have a question?
I got one.
All right, Jenny.
I got a fire alarm and a carbon monoxide detector.
Okay, good. So you got both. You got an
Mhm.
extinguisher and a carbon monoxide. I bet you have a smoke detector too. Perfect. Any other questions?
Yeah, baby.
Well, hey, I appreciate you guys letting me come on here and have a quick chat with you. If you ever have any questions, Danielle knows how to get a hold of me. And, please reach out and I'll be more than happy to help you.
All right, thank you so much, Kevin. I think next we have Keith. So Keith, if you want to introduce yourself, then you can go ahead and get started.
Yeah, just give me 1 second because this Amber Alert is got me locked up here. There we go. That happens often. All right. So, I'm Sergeant Keith Jesse from the Bellevue Police Department. I am the creator of the community safety program for special needs individuals for the state of Ohio. I do also have a canine partner that we use strictly to find people that are missing that have special needs. So my canine partner is not with me right now, but we usually are together 24/7 every day. So, but anyway, we're going to be talking about scams and safety on the internet tonight. So thanks for letting me come on and share some of this information with you. One of the biggest things that we're looking at, especially in our emails and in our some of our phone scams that are coming around, is the advance fee scams. So these are things where it usually sounds really good, and you really want an object or some kind of thing for this, and these people are actually that usually they'll be like, oh, we will give you an iPad if you send us a $50 Amazon gift card. Or they may try to offer you something like a loan or investment type thing, and they want you to pay them first for a loan or an investment. And usually, if they're loaning you money, you wouldn't have to pay that back until a later date, and it wouldn't be in gift cards. Most likely, it'd probably be a money order, a check, or cash. Is usually what we tell people. We try not to tell people to ever give gift cards to anyone. Some of the other things that are going around, especially on the internet right now, is you might get an email or you might get a text message telling you that your computer is got some kind of virus on it, and you need to send buku bucks to get it repaired. And part of that is coming from overseas. So they're having a hard time trying to find that those people that are doing that. But they are working on it. And it does say it does happen quite often. People will try to send this money, and like they'll say, okay, we want $150 up front, and then they'll say, well, this is wrong, and they'll try to get you to pay $200, and then it just keeps going up and up and up and up. And some people are paying this because they really think something's wrong with their computer, and really nothing's wrong with their computer. So you gotta really be careful of those kind of scams. Also, the newest thing is that's going around is now a charity scam there, or a disaster scam. They're trying to raise money for Texas because of the snowstorm and ice storm that they received down there. And some most of the time, like your Red Cross and your Salvation Armies and stuff like that, those are legit places to donate to. But you need to go to their site or go to their place. Don't ever click on an ad on the internet that says please donate here. Literally go to the website and make sure that you type it in completely, because a lot of times when you start typing and stuff will start popping up, those could be fraudulent sites as well. So you need to type it in completely and then go to the site direct. So some of the other things that we're having problems with again is these people are going around, and this is called the utility scam. So what they're doing is they're coming around and they're trying to save you money on your electric bill. That's the main one that we've heard so far. So they're trying to they want to come in and look at your appliances and stuff like that. So they want to come into your house. These people, there is no agency out there that needs to come into your house to check your appliances for to see if they can save you money on your electric bill. Your electric meter is most likely on the outside of your house. If they need to look at anything, that would be the only thing that they really need to look at. And they can do that from the outside. So they do not need to come into your house. And if they're calling, I don't know. Here we have Spectrum, cable and internet, and there is no third party part to Spectrum. Spectrum has Spectrum is Spectrum, and they do have contractors that they use to put the service in, but they do not have an outside service that will try to sell cable or internet to you. But there is people out there that are calling and saying that they're from Spectrum and trying to get you to buy the product, and they're usually asking for a credit card over the phone. And anytime somebody's asking for a credit card over the phone, we really suggest not to ever give credit card information over the phone. Tell them to send you a bill through the mail, and or tell them that you will take it to the place yourself, if it be a utility or whatever like that. Usually there's a local place to go and pay the bill or whatnot. So a couple other things that we're seeing, especially with the COVID going on, is romance and relationship scams going on really bad. So so these people are going online and they're trying to be friendly to you guys and want to they want to have a relationship over the internet, and they might be talking to you real sweet and try to tell you things that they do or they want to do, and it might sound all pleasing and all that. They may want to send photos, or they may want you to send photos. Never send photos of yourself, especially nude photos. You do not want to do that. That's a major no-no, because those could end up anywhere in the internet. That person could be using them for the wrong things besides a relationship. If you understand that. So you got to be
one more little tip if you have it, Keith. I thank you for all you've given us so far.
so and one other thing, we have that we have the skimming devices. Once again, we've got 3 of them off the street in the past couple weeks. So make sure that if you're using credit cards at stores and stuff, to double check that kind of stuff out. So
Any quick questions for Keith? Okay, thank you.
All right,
You're
thank you, Keith.
you're welcome.
All right, so we are down to our last guest, and looks like he is on. Jay Berschbach, if you are ready to present on weather safety, we are ready for you. Let me get you pinned up here. All right, I'll let you introduce yourself. I'm sure everybody kind of knows you, but
yeah, maybe not. How y'all doing tonight? Again, Jay Berschbach from 13 ABC. I'll try to put my head right behind that light so it's not quite as bright. Can I share my screen?
Oh, yes, I might have to.
All right, so I'm going to share.
Host here.
And there's a
yep,
lot of. Okay. Can you guys see it, or is it really, really small?
I can see it.
Okay. Okay, we'll go through this, and there's going to be a lot of information for everybody tonight, but I'll just kind of talk through the main points. So if you can't read the stuff as quickly as I'm talking, or if there's too many pictures and you're like, what's he talking about? I will try to just talk about the important things on each individual screen with the with weather safety in mind. So as a meteorologist, as a scientist, I get to do some really neat stuff. And that's me in the back seat of an F-16 with the Thunderbirds, who were at the air show a couple of years ago in Toledo. They gave me a flight suit, put my name on the plane. So could you imagine flying in that airplane with the afterburners and the fire coming out the back? So I love my job. I love the weather. I love science. I went to college for science, got this degree. So we kind of try to figure out the atmosphere. I've been in Toledo, the bottom line, for 23 years. So I've been at Channel 13 for a long, long time. There's different ways. When I got into the weather business, there's different ways to get information. For instance, we just heard that someone got an Amber Alert. I got one as well. So technology is really a great way to get information immediately. 10, 20 years ago, you'd have to wait till the evening news came on, or wait from a phone call from a friend, or get the newspaper. But now we've got computers, tablets, cell phones, and internet too, with like social media like Facebook and Twitter, where we can interact with you. So it's a lot easier to get severe weather information to you than it was just really just 5 or 10 years ago. So different ways to get information. Again, if you can't see all these little pictures, I'll walk you through. There's a thing called NOAA Weather Radio, and some folks just have a little radio that only has weather information. You've got the weather apps, that's the one right here. You've got the internet or websites. You've got my favorite here, local TV and radio guys. I don't think that's me, but who knows who they had to model that. You've got outdoor sirens. If you've ever heard the tornado sirens go off, those really loud sirens. That's kind of an older technology, but still effective in case you don't have your cell phone. If you're not near a TV or a radio, that can alert you that there's bad weather coming. And that bottom one's kind of cool too. Friends, family, coworkers, people in the building with you can inform you, hey, you know, there's a big snowstorm coming, or hey, have you heard about the severe weather? So all kinds of information is just all over the place. A lot of words here. I want you to focus on those 3 yellow lines. With all of our snow the past couple of weeks, we've been talking about snow emergencies on TV. These are issued by the sheriff in your particular county. So I think most of you are in Hancock County. Not sure if all of you are. Maybe some of you commute in. But level 1, if you ever hear that, that means, hey, roads are just a little bit slick. Level 2, the second one means you probably shouldn't be out there. Use extreme caution if you have to. But if you need to go to get some groceries or something, you still can. And then level 3, the bottom one, you're not supposed to be on the roads. Only emergency vehicles, police, ambulances, or if you have an emergency. Otherwise, folks should not be driving. And that gives crews time to kind of clean off the roads, to get the plows out there and make sure no one gets stuck in all the snow and ice. So winter safety kits, I'm not sure if you folks have some of these or all of these. You've got canned food. That's always a good thing to have, like tuna fish or beans or some soup, bottled water, first aid kit, your medicine. Don't forget about your medicine if you do have to go take shelter somewhere. Hygiene items like toothbrushes, shampoo, soap, to make sure you can kind of keep yourself nice and clean. Battery operated radio, spare batteries, cell phones, flashlights, clothing, and cash. If the power did go out and the ATMs didn't work, you'd have to have a little money perhaps to buy some food or something like that. If you're driving or if you're with someone that's driving here, the vehicles, got to think about that too. Flashlights, water, scrapers for all the ice and snow, a cell phone, jumper cables, blankets, first aid kit. So we're not just thinking about at home, but when you're on the road, if the car broke down or you got a flat tire or something, you want these items here, even a shovel to kind of give yourself some traction. Even kitty litter. They say if you can put a little thing of kitty litter in there, so if you get stuck on ice or snow, you put that below the tires, and that can help get traction to get you out of whatever you're stuck in. So all kinds of things. I know there's a lot of stuff here, but just kind of think ahead if you do have to travel or if there's a big winter storm coming, just to ask around and see, hey, what do we need again for that big storm, just to make sure we're prepared just in case. All right, second thing here, got a few more minutes here. Shoveling snow. 1, get the forecast. 2, they say push, don't lift. You can hurt your back and your knees and your legs. And when you're older and older, trust me, shoveling snow, it's quite a workout. Wear clothing that's comfortable. Wear boots that don't let the water in and snow in, and drink water because it is exercise. So if you're out there shoveling for someone or clearing off a car, make sure you take care of yourselves because it is like going for a walk or exercising. Cold weather problems. The one on the left is called frostbite, and that's when your skin begins to get too cold and it can really hurt and cause numbness. So gloves, okay, wear those if you can, and get inside if you feel cold. The hypothermia, you see that person shivering? Can everyone see that lady going like this? Oh, I'm so cold. That's when your body temperature drops and it's dangerous to be outside because it's too cold. So listen to your body. When you start feeling your fingers get numb or you start feeling a little bit lightheaded, get inside, okay? And take cover. So that's the cold side. Quick review of severe storms during the warm months like spring, summer, and fall. What makes a storm severe? Big hail. Do you see those hailstones by the quarter? Has to be an inch. You've got winds over 58 miles per hour, knocking the trees down. And then on the right, a possible tornado. That can also spark a warning, which is when we'd be on TV probably saying, hey, there's a warning. The right side is when there's a storm in place. That's a warning. Hey, take cover. The one on the left called a watch means that conditions are kind of, it might storm. We're still tracking things, but get ready in case it does storm. So watch, think of this. We're watching, okay? And a warning means take cover. So we're just watching, or a warning, that means take cover. A lot on this page, again, but I want you all, if you can, I know you're muted, most of you, but say this with me. When thunder roars, get indoors. Ready to say it? Go. When thunder, get indoors. Very good, very good. It is not safe to be outside during a thunderstorm. So don't golf, don't mow the lawn, don't go boating, don't go for a walk, things like that. So with all these fancy colors and stuff on this map or this graphic, get inside when it's storming outside. Okay, severe weather awareness, a lot of those things listed, I'm not going to go through them because there's a lot of them. A lot of those are very similar to the winter kit, like water and your credit cards and cash and your cell phone. One thing that's interesting is that second one, and that's a whistle. I don't personally have that in my kit, but I might add to it, because think if you were like in a building and no one could hear you and your phone didn't work, a whistle can sometimes get attention that wouldn't otherwise come. So I might go find an old whistle in my house and kind of put that in my severe weather kit just in case. A couple more graphics here, then we're done. I know the time's almost up here. Flooding's a big deal. Don't drive through flooded waters. Don't walk near flooded waters. There could be wires in there. There could be wood that has nails in it. There could be who knows what, but just stay away from flooded water. That's the big thing there. And then tornadoes. I want you to say this one with me too. Those big yellow letters. I'll say it first. Get in, get down, and cover up. Say that with me. Ready?
Get in,
Get down, and
get down, cover up.
Right. So what you want to do is to get in the building, go as far down in the building, like the basement or first floor, and then cover up under a sturdy table or a stairway. Use blankets and pillows, and that's the safest place to be. Stay with the TV station, stay with your cell phone, and once the all clear is given, we're in good shape and the storm will have passed. So that's the end of the talk there. You know, weather happens every day. It could be cold, it could be hot. Today it was really pretty. I hope you all got outside today and enjoyed like 45 degrees and the sunshine was out and it wasn't that cold. Any questions from anybody out there? I'm gonna take my screen away here. Pause, new share. No, not a new share. Pause, share, stop share. There you go. Okay, so any questions from anyone? I know this is a lot of information.
I have a question. So did you announce us on TV that you're going to be with us?
I can announce it tonight. I was so busy getting this ready during the show that I did not. But yes, if you watch tonight at 11 o'clock, so I'll make a note to myself. I will make a note. Can I take a picture of everyone, or is that, should I just mention you verbally? What do you guys think? Danielle or anyone, can I? Yeah, okay. Let me get a picture, and that way I can show people how good you all look on the TV tonight. Are you ready? Okay. Here we go. In 1, 2, 3. Okay. I got you guys. So we'll put that on at 11 o'clock. Yeah.
11 o'clock.
Very cool. Very cool.
I'll be still up.
Anybody else?
Are we expecting any major snowstorms within the next couple of weeks?
No, it looks much quieter over the next couple of weeks. A couple chances for snow maybe next week as we go back in the 30s. But after 2 weeks of a lot of snow and a lot of cold, I don't see anything big for the next week or so. Yeah. Jenny, did you have a question? Jenny, go ahead. No? Okay.
Yeah, I got a question.
Yes, go ahead.
When you put up like a tornado warning?
What do you do during a tornado warning? What you want to do is to get inside, get away from windows, get away from doors, so you can go in your house or building and then go down. So like a closet would be a good place. A bathroom with no windows would be a good place.
Basement?
Basement's the best place to go. Yes, basement's a great place to go.
What happens if you're at work and there's a tornado?
If you're at work, they should have a plan for what to do. So maybe the next time you go to work, just say, I know it's cold outside, but hey, if there was a possible tornado, where do we go to stay
I
safe?
knew we'd go to the bathrooms.
Bathroom's a good place to go. Like my building here, I have a basement, so we put everyone in the basement to stay safe. But ask your work. When you get to work, just ask, and I'm sure they have a place that's all set to go.
Hey, Jay.
Yes, Keith.
Hey, with all the warm weather that we're getting all of a sudden, is it safe to go out on the rivers and lake and everything?
It is not safe to go on the ice right now, whether it's a river, the Maumee Bay, the lake. The ice is shifting. The ice is getting thinner. It may look like ice. Another amber alert, but the ice could be very thin, and you could fall through the ice, and that is a very dangerous situation. So, Keith, right now, as they say, no ice is safe ice.
It'll do that how many times? Different once before I had the amber alert.
Oh yes, I only got it once. So
yeah, we're getting another one.
Are you? Okay, you guys are closer. I think it's from Hamilton County. I think down near Columbus. So perhaps you're a bit closer, so they're giving you updates on it. So yeah.
I actually had a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Is it going to be like it was today, tomorrow?
Close. You guys will probably be in the mid 40s. I don't think we'll see as much sunshine. You might get a sprinkle, and then colder Thursday and Friday, and we'll be in the 50s this weekend most likely. So that snow is going to keep melting, and for Finley, probably 50s, 55. Yeah,
55.
pretty amazing, huh? So make your plans this weekend to go for a walk or something.
All right, Jay, I appreciate you joining us today and all the other speakers as well. And everybody for joining and watching. I think it was a lot of good information that was shared.